Welcome back to Coaching Conversations. I'm Maria Sabio.
And I'm Lourdes Lafer. Today we're sharing from our newly released book, A Path to Resilience, Small Steps to an Unshakable You. Currently available at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon.
It's a modern interpretation of ancient Stoic wisdom blended with psychology and mindfulness. It's one interpretation, one quote, one interpretation, one takeaway you can actually use today as a daily practice. And the more you return to it, the more it returns you to your center.
Let's begin with today's quote, which is centered around the concept, contemplate impermanence regularly. Here's the quote. Stop chasing trends that expire and praise that fades. The only thing you need to understand is that everything is temporary and your peace is the only prize that isn't.
That quote's one of the most freeing truths you can internalize. We're talking about contemplating impermanence regularly and the Stoic discipline that shifts your focus from external anxiety to internal stability.
The world is in a constant state of flux. If you tie your happiness, your identity, or your security to things that will inevitably disappear, your job title, your youth, your popularity, you guarantee your own suffering.
This practice of contemplating impermanence, it isn't meant to depress you. It's meant to sharpen your focus. When you know that something is temporary, you're either going to appreciate it more deeply now, or you're going to realize it wasn't worth chasing in the first place.
Yeah, voluntary acceptance of transience is the key to living freer. It allows you to love deeper in the time you have, suffer less when things inevitably change, and focus purely on the one thing that is within your control, your internal peace.
You know, we see this discipline play out when people actively choose detachment from the inevitable, like the recovering workaholic who must accept that their status, their title, and their productivity addiction, that they were temporary and ultimately meaningless measures of self-worth. And the contemplation of burnout forced them to prioritize the lasting prize, the internal health and relationships. And also the digital detox advocates who encourage us to disconnect from social media, demonstrating that when the digital validation and likes are temporary praise, that really just distract us from lasting internal peace and presence.
Right. The parent of a teenager has to continually accept that their child's dependence is temporary. And this realization of impermanence can gently guide them to shift from controlling every detail to loving deeper and investing in the relationship before the window closes.
You know, few modern leaders better embody the calm acceptance of impermanence than Angela Merkel, the former chancellor of Germany. You know, she led one of the world's most stable economies through numerous global crises for almost 16 years. And Merkel's leadership was famously pragmatic, measured, and often understated. She rarely engaged in the political noise, the temporary trends, the grandstanding, or the quick fix emotional reactions that have really characterized many modern politicians.
Yeah, this was her core Stoic discipline. She operated from an understanding that political tides, public approval, and even her position were temporary. She accepted that external events like the Eurozone crisis, the refugee crisis, or Brexit were unavoidable challenges that she couldn't stop, she could only meet. And because she wasn't attached to the immediate praise or fear of fading popularity, she was able to make decisions based on long-term stability and rational process rather than temporary emotional wins.
Right. Her peace was derived from her ability to, steer the ship rationally, not from the cheers of the crowd. And her departure from power, which was quiet and dignified, was the ultimate demonstration that she never confused her temporary title with her permanent purpose.
So, you know, you, I, none of us are exempt from the law of impermanence. Life will change. And use this truth to stop chasing external prizes that expire. Focus instead entirely on cultivating your internal peace, your character, your virtue, your wisdom, because that's the only prize that doesn't fade. And contemplating impermanence is the ultimate invitation to live fully right now.
So that's your thought for the week. Don't let it stay just a quote. Let it challenge you. Let it shape you. Try it out in real life and see how it changes the way you think and the way that you show up. We'll be back next week with another reading from our book, A Path to Resilience: Small Steps to an Unshakable You.
Thanks so much for joining us.